Hello, my fellow nerds and non-nerds, and maybe new nerds and old nerds. You never know someone's level of nerd, so I have no idea where I was going with that. But anyways, how are y'all? How is life? How is your mom? I hope the family is good. My family had a COVID scare, but we are all good. We're all negative. Had 2 negative tests, actually. The first one, the nurse was really nice. The second one, the nurse was rough, and she manhandled my nostrils, and it hurt really bad. She was not in a good mood that day. Anyways, if you're a returning listener, thank you so much. You are awesome. It means so much to me that you continue to turn on my podcast and listen to me. If you are new, hello, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I'm sorry that your first story had to be of me and my nostrils getting manhandled. If you could like and subscribe and follow me on whatever platform you're listening to, that would be awesome. It's so you never miss a show. But I have more important matters for you, if you choose to help me. Today is actually Friday, and so the last day for you to vote for my podcast is tomorrow, July 31st. So in case if you're listening to this way after, it's gonna be too late. But if you voted for my podcast, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I was gifted a nomination for 2 People's Choice Awards. It's the Adam Curry Award and for TV and film. And if you could help some fellow podcasters out and vote for Mass Debaters for comedy, that would be awesome for them as well. So now let's get to the good part, which is my podcast that is brought to you by Alamo Drafthouse, the best food, drink, film. I think that's the order it goes into. They have the best fried pickles on the face of the earth. I definitely need to get in there and get some fried pickles, but I have the links in my link page for movie tickets, gift cards, movie memorabilia. Now that I'm not traveling anymore, I have money, and I am going to be getting some really cool movie posters. They have really cool movie posters that are made by fan art, not movie from the movies and stuff. So they're really cool in a different way. So check those out. Oh, my throat just did something weird. Anyways, you are listening to the Nerd in Texas podcast, the show that brings you useless information that keeps me up at 3 a.m. with thoughts like, could Sailor Moon beat Thanos? It's a legit question. Would Sailor Moon be able to beat Thanos? I mean, I know Thanos has the whole, Infinity Stones and stuff, but with the power of the moon, in her little, heart attack blast, do you think she'd be able to do it? Anyways, I am literally a nerd in Texas, and I like to talk about TV shows, movies, video games, with a sprinkle of comedy. I am your hostess, Chanel Fortney. If you hear someone screaming and yelling in the background, it is my daughter Lily playing Roblox with her friend.
Hi,
she
I'm
just
her daughter.
Came in for a minute and said hi.
About screaming, Audrey had to go.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I am waiting, but you're doing a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so I asked Twitter, and Twitter answered. So I think I'm going to be doing this more often, but I created a poll and listed 3 movies that I've been wanting to do on a podcast. One is Gunpowder Milkshake. The other is Luca or Masters of the Universe. And Twitter has spoken. The Twitter universe has spoken. And today's podcast is about Masters of the Universe, Revelation, without spoilers. So before I get into it, I have failed y'all. I am sorry, but I have failed you. Or I failed myself. Or all of us. I'm not sure. This is why the fate of the universe is not in my hands. But I was going to do this podcast as a video, but I didn't. I tried really hard to put on my big girl panties and just make a video. But for me personally, it's hard. I don't know why I'm so scared to. But one, I don't know. I don't have a professional whole YouTube setup or an awesome camera. I mean, I do have an awesome camera, but I don't have the stuff to make a video with it. I guess I gotta get on Amazon and get the stuff to make a video with it. But I will get over my fear one day. But now I'm working on it. I'm getting there. So let's jump into Masters of the Universe. And like I said, it's going to be no spoilers. I want to encourage you guys to watch it. It's also going to be short. It's going to be a short episode. So, I personally loved Masters of the Universe Revelation. It is created by the showrunner is Kevin Smith. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. I 100% respect him and the way he's going with Masters of the Universe. There is some controversy going on Twitter and other social media platforms about it, but let's get into that later. So Skeletor is voiced by the legend Mark Hamill. He is Luke Skywalker and the voice of the Joker in many animated Batman movies. And the main voice of the Joker for the 90s animated Batman series. Now, if you watch Masters of the Universe on Netflix, there's also a tiny episode where Kevin Smith kind of interviews Mark Hamill about his influences or his inspirations for the voice of Skeletor. And so that's pretty cool because you really do hear the Joker, but he also has a lot of other influences in his voice that I'd like to encourage you to watch this because it's I don't know. I love hearing Mark Hamill use his Joker voice. Mark Hamill is also just a really cool, down to earth, awesome dude, but I just love hearing his Joker voice, and he actually did the Joker voice while reading one of Trump's tweets. I don't want to get all political and everybody mad at me, but it's a Happy New Year's tweet, and it's hilarious hearing him Mark Hamill do the Joker because it sounds like something the Joker would say. I tried finding it on Twitter, but the only ones I could find is they had this whole 20-minute explanation about it and then did the clip of it. So I encourage you to Google it, look for it on Twitter. Look for it on YouTube if you're wanting a good laugh because he only reads one Trump tweet, but it's really hilarious. I don't know why I think it's so funny, but it just is. So a few podcasts back, I talked about how I have this magical power where I can hear someone's voice and be like, I know that voice. Well, it happened. Tila is voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is known for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and she was Daphne in Scooby-Doo. And then we have Evil Lynn, who is Lena Headey. She is in Game of Thrones. She's Cersei Lannister in Game of Thrones. She was also the mom in Gunpowder Milkshake, which is another podcast I'm going to be doing. But He-Man himself is Chris Wood, who has been in many CW shows like Vampire Diaries. He played Mon-El in Supergirl. We also have Alan Oppenheimer is the voice of Mothman. And now for a fun little fact, Alan Oppenheimer was the original voice of Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, Cringer, Battle-Cat, Merman, and Roboto. So cartoons way back in the day, or animated series way back in the day, whatever you want to call it. People who were the voice of them, they were the voice of many characters, not just one. And he's one of those guys that are many characters, and it's probably really cool for him to be on this project, for him to see a 2021 version of something that he was such a huge part of. And I'm sure he was also a huge influence on this 2021 rendition of it as well. So now on IMDb, it describes it as a radical return to Eternia. Revelation is a direct sequel series to the classic era of Masters of the Universe. It's featuring fan favorites He-Man, Orko, Cringer, and Man-at-Arms. The story pits our heroic warriors and guardians of Castle Grayskull against Skeletor, Evelyn, Beastman, and the vile legions of Snake Mountain. But after a ferocious final battle forever fractures Eternia, it's up to Tila to solve the mystery of the missing sword of power in a race against time to prevent the end of the universe. Her journey will uncover the secrets of Grayskull at last. Finally, IMDb nailed a good description about something. Like, normally IMDb has a terrible description about something. Hey nerds, you know I love helping you out. So I'm giving you a little tidbit on if you were wanting to start a podcast, I highly suggest you start it with Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast, and let me explain. One, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. But like I said, a lot of people are not happy about Masters of the Universe. It got 4.9 out of 10 stars on IMDb. Ouch. But it got 95% on the tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes, but it also got 36% for an audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I don't judge anything based off of Rotten Tomatoes just because Rotten Tomatoes is probably like the worst place that rates movies. So I always encourage people, if there is like something terrible on Rotten Tomatoes, watch it for yourself, because people on there, they're like the Yelp of movie reviewers or whatever you want to call it. If there's one thing that they don't like about it, all of a sudden it's like a terrible movie. But the main thing that's going on right now is a lot of people are on Twitter are saying it's a woke He-Man. What does a woke He-Man even mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't want to give it any spoilers because I want to encourage you to watch it. Make a decision for yourself. But I am going to say that this is part 1. It has 5 episodes. From what I have found out from interviews and things that I have watched with Kevin Smith, there is going to be a part 2. I'm not sure how many episodes there will be. I imagine it'll probably be the same as part 1. We're not sure when part 2 will be released. Kevin Smith did say that they are wrapping up production, but they do not have a for sure date yet. So, with me getting into my personal opinion about it and things that Kevin Smith have said, I'm going to try and refrain from spoilers. A lot of people are saying that it is a woke He-Man or a woke Masters of the Universe because Teela has a huge part in the series. Has a huge part in a lot of the episodes. So a lot of people are like, oh, you're trying to push this feminism stuff down my throat and you're trying to make me watch it and whatever. Like, no one's making you watch anything, by the way. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. That's the cool part. But if you go back and watch He-Man and Masters of the Universe, She-Ra is literally He-Man's twin sister. So there's always been some kind of a feminism, woman's essence, I guess you could say. I mean, a lot of people thought He-Man was gay back in the day. Because of some of the things, not only would he say, but he's also kind of like half naked with muscles everywhere. Like, he's got muscles on top of muscles. Like, he has like, I think he has more muscles than, okay, here's another question that's going to keep me up at 3 a.m. And it just hit me. Like, you guys just witnessed a question hit me. Who has more muscles? He-Man or Goku? When Goku's like Super Saiyan. So we have, like, I know people get so mad at me. Is it Saiyan, whatever? I don't know. But I know some Dragon Ball Z, but not a whole lot of Dragon Ball Z. I probably should watch more of it. But anyways, who has more muscles? He-Man or Goku? That's going to keep me up at night. But, so that's what a lot of people are complaining about. That it is too feminism, or there's too much of this, like, girl power stuff going on and whatever, because there's a whole lot of Teela. Keep in mind that it is part 1. We are left on a huge cliffhanger for this part 1. And it makes you, like, your jaw just kind of drops at the last second. The last part of the series, you're just like, did that really just happen? So give Kevin Smith faith. Give him time. Give him, like, Kevin Smith is a huge fan of Masters of the Universe and all of these fandoms, just like we are. And he wants it to be awesome and amazing, just like we want it to be awesome and amazing. So let him finish and then make your judgments. That's like reading half a book and saying, this book sucks, and you don't even finish it. Like, finish it. So, that's what I plan on doing. I plan on watching part 2, see how everything goes down, and if I don't like it, then I don't like it. But, yeah. Now, this is how Kevin Smith is kind of, like, handling the haters, and I think he's actually kind of handling them pretty well by my standards. But by social media standards and by other people's standards, he's not. He's kind of telling people, like, get over it, grow up. And then he explained that if He-Man is woke now, like I said, you obviously didn't watch He-Man then. And, yeah, challenged people to go rewatch it. And I looked it up. You can rewatch it on Hulu. And that's what I do. They came out with a Netflix, like, Sailor Moon movie. I totally rewatched and binge-watched Sailor Moon. Like, I'll probably do a podcast about that. I was afraid this episode would get too, like, ranty and too venti, because I'm kind of, like, biased towards Kevin Smith and a huge fan of Kevin Smith. Like I said in the past few episodes, he's the reason why I started podcasting. He's the reason why I want to start doing YouTube videos. But here's where I think he's going. He's also going the route as to thinking, okay, what if this happens in this direction? What I think he is going at or getting at is the final battle, like a huge battle. Like, I don't really remember if there's the little battles of He-Man and Skeletor and good versus evil, but there was never, like, a huge epic battle between the two where He-Man or Skeletor has won. You know, like, where he's getting at is, if you really think about it, it's always the bad guys who lose, right? So we finally got to see what it was like if the bad guys won in Avengers Infinity War and in Avengers Endgame. What if Darth Vader won? What if he was able to control the universe? What if he made the rebellion and the Jedi completely extinct? So I think that's where he's getting at. That's where he's going. So like I said before, you are completely left on a cliffhanger. You are left with your jaw just completely dropped, like, at the very last second. And on the Netflix Geeked Twitter account, they posted a video of Kevin Smith talking about part 2, but it has a whole lot of spoilers for part 1. So if you go and watch it, don't be mad at me. Don't be like, you told me to go find it and watch it, and there's all these spoilers. I warned you, okay? But he talks about part 2 picking up exactly where they left off, but it's going to take a turn. And he says part 2 leaves part 1 in the dust. So he has plans, kids. He has plans. So let Kevin Smith do his thing. But that is what I have for the Masters of the Universe. Thank you for joining me on this podcast of the Nerd in Texas podcast. Thank you for letting me rant and letting me vent, and thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry if it wasn't a great episode and you didn't expect to listen to me rant and vent, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it, and I hope everyone is doing great. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Today is Friday. If you enjoyed my podcast and would like to help support my podcast, you can go to my Kofi page, leave a tip in my virtual tip jar. And any tip you leave, it doesn't matter if it's $1 or $3. That's pretty much what I have it set at, is $1 or $3. You can do whatever you want. You'll get exclusive content and an invite to my Discord server. I also have commissions where you can ask me any question for $1. And if it's appropriate, I'll answer it on my podcast. If it's not very appropriate, I'll answer it to you personally. $3, you get a personal shout out, and $10, you get to choose what I talk about on my podcast. So, I hope you have a great day, a great weekend. Stay nerdy. And until then, peace out, nerds.